So, hello everyone. This is kind of I hope that you can hear me because the camera is quite a ways away from me. But this is how I'm having to do this now. Um, I'm recording, broadcasting, whatever you want to call it. I wonder if I can zoom in here. Oh, that's better. That's a lot better. I'm kind of recording, I am recording from my bed. And I'm gonna have this video go up first. This is an update to what was a previous update. And I'm sorry about that. But I'm gonna put up two videos of which I was actually, quite a bit healthier than what happened right after the very last video I did that I still haven't posted. That's one of the problems with being chronically ill and so horribly sick. I'll film videos and I'll go through the trouble of actually making them, but then I'll be too sick to even upload them. So I hope that I'm able to, actually upload this one. I will have to cut off a great big chunk because I had to set things up here on camera. But this really isn't going to be so much of an art video, just an update and an info and a knowledge video. And this is also going to go over book bolt, but this is going to entangle a lot of things. So first off, the update. I became horrifically sick for an entire week right after the very last video that I shot. And I am going to upload that nice and happy video because it did contain art and whatnot. So yeah, so obviously this art channel is going to be more of almost like an ongoing diary and an update. But that does not mean I am an artist, so obviously it's going to contain art, but real life keeps on coming in and kicking my butt. I don't know how else to put it. Kicking my kidneys, kicking me to the curb. That's what it is. So yeah, there's that. So there's the update. I'm glad that I'm healthy enough at the moment to even record this from bed, to sit up and record this, because I wasn't able to even sit up for about a whole week there. It was bad. It was very, very, very bad. So number two, I am still continuing on with the coloring book. I'm determined to get that done, but I'm having trouble with, and I think I'll zoom out here. Yeah, hopefully this won't matter. I know because of the day and time that we're living in, sadly and terribly, people who are, people who are on SNAP, in other words, food stamps, they have had their food stamps stolen from them. And we're in a time where those who are elderly, those who are sick, those who are especially young are just, they're hated, they're bullied, they're seen as, deadbeats. So if they're treating those people like that, and I am chronically ill, so, hello, this is future me, and I just wanted to cut in here really fast and say, sorry about that. My mind was scattered. I was trying to get to the point of, which is this: I hope no one steals my information or tries to, quote, dox, unquote, me, as it seems to be called now. Since the world has gotten horrifically cruel now, I am actually very worried about this, and having to show my family's laptop screen and even my BookBolt account in order to get my point across in this video and the next one. I was greatly worried some very identifying information, could possibly show up on screen, especially since I was having trouble with the electronics that day. So I seem to have trouble. My brother had trouble with the electronics in this room too when it was his. Anyway, so I did my best to make sure that, that didn't happen, that nothing showed up on screen, and you can actually kind of read the script that I'm reading here. But I'm far from a techie or a geek, a computer geek or a computer coder. Because of this, especially nowadays, things have changed so much. so much. So because of this, I don't really trust anything I show here, and therefore was really worried about people not respecting my privacy. If anything private would end up being shown on screen, which I really hope it didn't. Far as I know, it didn't. But being ill and not seeing so well, and my brain's being such a mess, even now off and on at times. Thankfully, I'm better at the moment. I can do this from the desk here, but I can't trust everything, and I can't necessarily trust myself anymore. That just happens. And you might ask, well, then why show the computer screen at all? you know and it's because this is the only way that I knew, and the quickest and the easiest, which is most important for me. Anything that's quick and instantaneous and very easy is very, very, very important for me. uh so this was just the quickest, easiest, and most instantaneous, way to get my point across. So, and well, why show anyone this anyway and just don't talk about it? Well, that's because I think these subjects are important, so I'm willing to put this information out there, especially about book bolt. And these subjects are important to me. And if they're important to me, someone who's not a one percenter, I'm sure that others need this information also. Even the information just in this everyday update, which is really just more about me, and which I have to admit is confusing. And the reason I decided to do this read through like this instead of, and this is my first time going through this after typing it up, the reason I decided to do this cold read through is because it was a heck of a lot easier than doing what I've been doing in the rest of the video and typing all of these individual things up and just putting them up, so that you actually have a little bit more confusing video, having the visuals of words which totally have nothing to do with, and I don't know, they don't contradict, but in my mind they contradict and they muddle the video that I'm speaking on screen. So it kind of completely has nothing to do with what I'm saying on screen. But and so I could put these up here, but there was so much information to say, I decided to go ahead and just read it into the camera as is. So this is more of an audio, not a visual, and this little thing is more of like a little podcast update. So there you go. And I don't mean to make the video longer putting this in, but I had to at least say that much, because I didn't clarify it later on in the video at all. I just didn't. And so that's what I was trying to say here. I was worried about any of my personal information, any identifying information, mainly about, my parents, finances, anything, living location, especially that, getting out there. And thankfully that didn't happen at all, from what I can tell from the video. But still, I don't even want people knowing my book bolt account, technically. I'm still going to be publishing under, the artist name that I have here, Astrological Artist, and for the calendars, I'm going to be posting under Astrological Geek, because that's not an art thing. That's keeping myself organized thing. So there you go. Anyway, that's it for this little, I want to say intro. That's what my brain is giving me. But yeah, that's for this info block here. So there we go. I'm glad I was able to describe that. And now back to the video. Thanks. Bye. But hopefully only my followers will really see this. But as for the book bolt part of it, more than likely, and I'm hoping that everyone will watch the book bolt part of it and be interested, because I got some things to talk about when it comes to that. But first and foremost, the coloring book. So this is a raw picture, a raw drawing that I did. And it's just a sketch. I was trying to figure out how to draw My Little Pony. This is the very first My Little Pony drawing I ever did in my life. I've never drawn horses before. I've never drawn My Little Pony. So I was really, and I didn't trace or anything. I was just trying to figure it out, and I managed to get it to ink. And so this was it. I tried to draw My Little Pony with beautiful curly blonde hair and beautiful butterfly wings, and I thought it'd be kind of neat if she was like, a star, diamond sparkles kind of thing. And I wanted her to be like a hummingbird or butterfly smelling a flower. So this was my attempt at My Little Pony. I'm thinking of doing a random coloring book where I have lots of pictures like this that I could turn into coloring book images. And I think I might actually do that because I'm practicing on a lot of things like this where I can turn it into a coloring book image. And it would actually be worth coloring. It would be entirely random. There would be no point to it. This is entirely random. There would be spiritual things in there. There'd be butterflies, flowers, you name it. It would just, there'd be like, I drew a bunch of like spacemen and landscapes. I mean, there you go. So I think I might actually do that too, since I'm doing a bunch of practice things. But you see how dark and just kind of crappy this is? Well, this is me trying to edit it, and I will zoom in here so you can kind of get a better idea. Now, I think it's the stylus. I got some new styluses and it hasn't helped. You can see that the outline, this is me actually trying to edit it, not in real life, but in the computer. And so that's what the white is, trying to whiten the background. And that's what this dark line is. And it's really a mess. It's really, as you can see, it is really rough and it is really bumpy, but that is the best that I can, there, hopefully the camera is zooming in better. That is the best that I can do. And here, this is me just, oh, that's not on camera. There we go. So this white part is me, I actually had to draw over the clouds and I had to redraw them with the black paint in it's not Photoshop, it's Pixlr actually, but Pixlr is the only one I can afford. So yeah, because Pixlr allows you to download 3 images like a day, or at least that's the way it was, and with how sick I've been, it's like a week. But I don't know. This is just, yes, this is me apologizing for my bad art and the bad quality that the coloring books might be in, and also just to kind of prove that all of my images are not going to be AI. I just saw a Jazza and was it oh, I want to say Chloe Rose. Oh God. Anyway, Jazza and Chloe. I'm sorry, my memory's been so bad. Maybe no one watches their stuff, but they just did things over AI coloring books, and I didn't even know AI coloring books were a thing. I didn't even, I mean, look at this. This is just so bad. And I can't clean it up. I can't clean this black outline up. I have tried, and I was like, well, maybe I'll go over it with white right next to it, and I don't know what's going on. The only thing I have is this laptop. I don't have an art tablet. I'm not a 1%er. I'm a bottom of the barrel person. And so I don't have 1% money, so I don't have the finances for an art tablet. So what I'm using is this laptop that has the ability, obviously, to manipulate the screen via your finger on the screen, which is a very new and fancy feature, I mean, and this is the best thing. This laptop isn't even mine. It's my mother's, and it's the best that I have access to. And so I'm doing the best that I can with the resources that I have. And obviously the outlines are not going to be that great. Obviously the drawing is not going to be that great. For whatever reason, I even got new styluses. I spent $7 on those styluses. That is a big deal for me, and that is a very big deal for me. And it didn't make any difference. It skipped and it gave me a very rough and nasty line anyway. There was no smoothness. I couldn't control it, and it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Just plain and as simple as that. So I apologize ahead of time, but I will show you some of the images. So this is one of the images that is going to be in the butterfly coloring book. It's just a random butterfly that I did, and I managed to clean it up, and I managed to make it look really, really good. And I managed to make it actually white, as you can see, versus this, butterfly, versus this My Little Pony one. I can't really put it side to side on the screen, I don't think. But I was able to clean it up. I was able to make it look really, really good. And I'll even, well, I didn't want it to do that either. I don't know. Well, all right. Most of the images, things are not going well for me electronically. I don't know why. I don't know why. Here. So most of the images are going to be like this. They're going to be words, and they're going to be really weird and strange. But this is my coloring book, and why it won't let me zoom in, I don't. Wow, that's too much. Well, I'm sorry about this. I don't know what's going on electronically. I am having to be, let me see if I can zoom in with the camera. There we go. But as you can see, even these lines are not great, but this is hand drawn, and I was able to clean it up in Pixlr, and I was able to get rid of the darkness and make it all white, and I was able to make the black lines, actually black instead of like some dark gray and, grayscale essentially, and just nasty. I mean, there's these, I noticed these 3 dots right here. I didn't fill in with actual like black paint, but these I did. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Yeah, you can kind of see on camera how these are gray and how these and all this around it are actually black. These I missed it. I didn't fill them in with paint. These I did fill them in with paint, So hopefully you can see that, but when you zoom out, you can't. Oh, darn. I don't know why it's switching like this. That doesn't make sense. I don't want it to be doing that. It's showing stuff that I don't want it to be showing. And it's switching between images when I don't want it to be. So anyway, there's an update video. And I think I'll go ahead and show this one first. And then I'll go ahead and I will do my, well, basically it's my complaining video next. So, but there you go. For what it's worth, my coloring books are going to be the best that I can produce. They're very much not going to be AI, no matter how weird and strange they are. And yes, I am apologizing for maybe the lower quality, but believe it or not, now with AI in the game, it makes my low quality art, coloring books look very high quality. Arguably, some people are so for AI that they would rather have an AI coloring book, which doesn't really make sense to me, because Jazza made a really good point, and it's the problem that I've been having, because I was like, initially I was like, oh, AI, because I'm a Generation Xer, and the baby boomers were afraid of technology and they hated technology, and they were very much against technology. So I was like, oh, okay, well, AI is okay. And I embraced it. And initially I got a couple of pictures off AI, and I started trying to edit them. And it, like Jazza said, it was breaking his brain going through those coloring books. Well, I was actually taking images and trying to, just like those romantic coloring books, I was taking images and trying to fix what AI had screwed up. And it was not possible for me. I was like, oh, well, this is actually a big help because the majority of the picture is done. All I have to do is edit the hands. All I have to do is edit the mistakes, wipe out that, whatever, that shelf, that butterfly that doesn't make sense, whatever it's supposed to be, that weird leaf, and it wasn't like that. In the end, I was having to, from scratch, redraw the entire image. Redraw the entire image. Even worse than this hand-drawn picture of mine, because I can tell where I put the butterfly wings and I can tell where the clouds are, and I just need to figure out where the butterfly wings are in relation to the tail and the clouds and everything. It was way worse than that. It was, and it was nonsensical. Like Jazza said, it was completely nonsensical. It didn't make sense, and it really, it kind of, I'm already nauseous, but it actually made me more nauseous. I don't know how to describe it. It made me more nauseous. So, and now you can see yourself in the reflection on the screen. So, because this is so mirror-like. So, hi, say hi to yourself. But yeah, but I'll try to end this video because I was initially thinking, oh, I could do like an entire coloring book of like these wonderful little mushroom and tree houses. And when I went in to try to edit it, it was so bad, I would have had to fully redraw all the rooms, fully redraw every individual leaf, fully redraw even like the trunk, the bark and everything and the roots, and it was so bad. I was like, this is not worth it. This is not worth it. And so I didn't even look at the mushroom ones. I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I just can't. I'm too sick. I can't. And I realized it's far better, especially in screwing up and testing stuff out with this Pixlr Pixlr editing suite, whatever it is, whatever they call it. It's like Photoshop, but it has it doesn't have as many things as even Photoshop 7, which is what I'm used to from 1998. So this is really new for me, this tablet and everything. It's very nice. I like it. My God. And trying things out and figuring stuff out and figuring out how to use Pixlr and how to do editing on the computer of my art, and just doing basic editing, in like MS Paint and whatnot, and cleaning it up and whatnot. I have found out that it is, when it comes to the AI stuff, it puts me further ahead cleaning up my old scribbles and scratches and bad line drawings that I did in my 30s and younger than it does to try to edit and fix up anything that AI could give me, which is really unfortunate, and I'm really upset about that, but that's the way it is. And in my opinion, AI, it's like it's in its beta testing or even C testing, like it hasn't even made it to beta yet, and they're already rolling it out in every area of our lives. And that is the main problem that I see with it. It is not ready or worthy to be used for anything at all whatsoever. It is not ready. It's like they're rolling out an untested, broken product and they're forcing it down everyone's throat. And if they would just stop doing all those 3 items, things would be better. They have to withdraw AI fully. They have to retest it. They have to let people voluntarily use it. They have to let people voluntarily literally hack it and screw with it and see what they can get out of it. Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, and then start rolling it out a little bit at a time to see if it would still work. And they haven't done any of that. In order to try to save money, they've rolled out AI without testing it, and it's like it's half done. The bits that are done are broken and not working, and now they're forcing it on everyone when they haven't even done a beta test with it. So I didn't mean for this to become a complaint, a whole thing about AI, but there you go. There you go. So anyway, I'm cutting this video off. I'm sick as a dog. I'm glad I was able to do this. And now I'm going to talk about Book Bolt in my next video. So, bye for now, and thanks for coming along on this ride.